Greetings, I'm Dr. Max Gomez at the 5th International Vatican Conference, and I am joined now by Emma Bloomberg of Murmuration. Emma, welcome. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start out with the urge to give. Is it nature versus nurture? Is this an innate urge to give, or is this something that's taught and learned?
I think for everyone, it's probably a little bit different, but I do think that it's human nature to want to solve problems and to help others. On the other side, I grew up in a family that believed in giving back and taught that. So I think I would say it's probably both. We've also all seen the research that organizations and businesses that have a social good component can attract the best talent and build the strongest sort of ties to their communities, and then in the end have the greatest impact. So there's something there as well that's sort of, if the best people want to work for the companies that are thinking about actually having an impact and doing right by their communities, then there must be something innate in all of us.
You're right. We've seen that time and again. So Murmuration started out by filling in gaps in data and tools, really in the political sphere, but now you've moved well beyond that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think, look, there's no silver bullet when it comes to addressing an issue as large as public education, right? In the case of education, I think for our sector, which is really focused on the politics of education, the sector needed data and technology first. But once those elements were built and we could really start to think about everything else that goes into our partners' campaigns, we started working with them to identify other gaps. The goal is targeted and more effective campaigns that help to really empower communities to have their voices heard and to be able to shape their own public school systems. And so that means not just the data and tools, but also helping to create the optimal political environment. That includes coalition building, that includes communications, that's bringing more and more people to the table and making sure that you've got a wider set of interests and expertise. Politics is an evolving arena, and we have to keep evolving as well.
Absolutely. Does this kind of grassroots help at the level of education, do you see it as something that will pay dividends down the line?
Gosh, I hope so. My feeling on this is yes. I think that if the decisions that are being made about how we're spending money in our schools are being made by elected officials, then you need to make sure that those elected officials are prioritizing the right things. And the way to do that is to have an empowered community that can demand those things and that can hold those elected officials accountable if they don't deliver on them. But I think even more broadly than that, what we're really trying to do is empower communities. Yes, with an eye towards improving public schools, but that power isn't limited just to that issue, right? These communities have many other issues that that they want to prioritize. And once you have a voice, once you have an audience, once you have your elected officials paying attention to you, you can use that power to affect really even broader change.
Got to hold their feet to the fire, right?
Exactly.
How would you like to see education then evolve over the next decade or so?
So I have to be a little careful with my answer here because Murmuration is agnostic when it comes to specific policies. We really believe that the communities that we're empowering should get to choose what's right for them. And so for me to put my own sort of spin on it would go a little bit counter to our values. But look, I think there are lots of really good ideas for how to dramatically improve public education. And there's a far longer list of needs, right? So the priority for me, for Murmuration right now, is really just making sure that education is treated as a political priority, that the way that we talk about the issues facing public education resonates with a broad and really diverse set of audiences, because only then can the sector really build its influence and its power, and only then can those different policy positions actually be pursued. I think in the wake of this pandemic, education is going to be one of the most important issues that we have to focus on. There's learning loss that needs to be addressed. There's new understanding of the inequity across public education. There's infrastructure issues. And the sector really has to be ready to take advantage of this moment in time and really drive massive change.
Well said, and thank you for your efforts in this field. It couldn't be more important. Thank you, Emma Bloomberg.
Thank you.